How are you guys doing? Today is Saturday, September 4th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Friday, September 3rd, from the MLB, the first couple matchups of the 2021 college football season. And of course, there were some games that took place in Africa as some of the African nations are still qualifying for the FIFA World Cup. In addition to that, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time as we enter the month of September. Starting off in the MLB, in the city of Chicago, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates from within their division, and the Cubs were able to pull off a 6-5 home win. The Pirates would tie the game at 5 with a 3-run sixth inning thanks to a 2-run home run from Anthony Alford. But once they made it to the bottom of the sixth, it would be a solo home run from Frank Schwindel that would win this game for the Chicago Cubs. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, the start went to Steven Brault. Steven Brault would allow 5 earned runs in the first 4 innings of the game, striking out 4. The loss went to the Pirates' second relief pitcher, Shelby Miller. Shelby Miller allowed 1 earned run in the 6th inning as he was unable to strike out a batter. With this loss, he's 0-1 on the 2021 season. In the Pirates' batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their left fielder, Anthony Alford. He went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 3rd and 4th home runs of the season yesterday. For the Chicago Cubs, the start went to Alec Mills. Alec Mills would allow 5 runs in 5.2 innings pitched. He struck out 6 before getting pulled in the 6th inning. The win went to the Cubs' first relief pitcher, Trevor McGill. Trevor McGill would allow no earned runs in 1.1 innings pitched. He would finish the 6th and 7th innings for the Cubbies as he struck out 3. With this win, he's now 1-0 on the season, and the save for Chicago went to Rowan Wick. Rowan Wick allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out all 3 of the batters he faced. This would be his 2nd save of the season, and in the Cubs batting lineup, their center fielder, Michael Hermosillo, would end up going 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He ended up a triple shy of the cycle as he hit his 3rd home run of the season. Their first baseman, Frank Schwindel, went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 9th home run of the year. Their right fielder, Ian Happ, would go 3 for 4 as well. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are 61-75. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They've won their last 4 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 21 games in the division right now. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 48-87. That is the worst record in the National League Central and the 2nd worst record in the National League. They've lost their last 4 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 33.5 games in the division, and right now they are the last remaining team they're the worst remaining team in the National League that hasn't been eliminated from playoff contention at the moment. Jumping out to our nation's capital, the Washington Nationals hosted the New York Mets. The Mets would lead the Nationals 2-0 going into the bottom of the 9th, where the Nats would score 2 runs to tie the game. And then it would go to the top of the 10th, where the Mets would score 4 runs to make it a 6-2 win to pick up win number 67. For the Washington Nationals, the start was given to their starting pitcher, Sean Nolan. Sean Nolan would allow 2 earned runs in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 3. The loss would go to the Nats closer, Austin Voth. Austin Voth would allow 4 runs in the 10th inning as he struck out 2. With this loss, he's 3-1 on the year. In the Nats batting lineup, their center fielder, Riley Adams, would end up going 2 for 2 with an RBI. And then also their second baseman, Luis Garcia, would end up going 2 for 4. For the New York Mets, however, on the other hand, the start was given to Rich Hill. Hill allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits in 6 innings pitched. He would also go on to strike out 4 batters on the day. The win was given to the Mets' setup relief pitcher, Edwin Diaz. Diaz allowed 2 earned runs in the ninth inning as he struck out 2. This would be he would pick up his 5th blown save of the season, but with this win, he's now 5-4. In the Mets batting lineup, their third baseman, Jonathan Villar, would go 4 for 6 with an RBI. Their elite first baseman, Pete Alonso, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. He would hit his second triple of the season, and then also their left fielder, Kevin Pillar, would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the New York Mets are now 67-67. That is the third best record in the National League East. They've won their last 5 games, which is currently the best winning streak in the major leagues at the moment. They've won 6 of their last 10. They trail the Atlanta Braves by 4 games in the division, and they are also trailing the Cincinnati Reds by 4 games for the second National League wildcard spot. As of right now, the New York Mets are the 4th team on the outside looking in as they trail the San Diego Padres, the St. Louis Cardinals, and also the Philadelphia Phillies in that race. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are 55-78. That is the worst record in the National League East and the 3rd worst record in the National League. They've now lost their last 6 games. That is currently the worst losing streak in all of baseball at the moment, so they're both on opposite ends of this spectrum. The Nats have lost 8 of their last 10 games, and alongside the Miami Marlins, they trail the Atlanta Braves by 15.5 games in the division. But since the Marlins have 1 more win and 1 more loss, they have a better win percentage, so therefore the Marlins have the 4th seed and the Nats have the 5th. Jumping out to New York, the New York Yankees hosted the Baltimore Orioles, and the Yankees were able to beat the Orioles 4-3 in extra innings. Score was tied at 2 going into extras. At the top of the 10, Ryan Mountcastle's RBI single would put the Orioles up 1. At the bottom of the 10th, DJ LeMahieu's RBI single would tie the game. And then on the bottom of the 11th, it would be a walk-off RBI single from former National League MVP Giancarlo Stanton to win the Yankees the game. For the Baltimore Orioles, the start went to John Means. John Means allowed 2 earned runs and 3 hits, striking out 5 before getting pulled after 5 innings. The loss was given to the Orioles closer for the day, Dylan Tate. Dylan Tate allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitched, as he was unable to strike out a batter. With this loss, he is now 0-6 on the season. In the Orioles batting lineup, their designated hitter, Trey Mancini, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run, as he would go on to hit his 21st home run of the season. And then for the New York Yankees, who of course scored their run without registering an out in the 11th inning, the start was given to Nestor Cortes Jr. Cortes Jr. would allow 1 earned run off of 4 hits in 5.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 7 before getting pulled in the 6th inning. The win, however, would go to the Yankees closer for the day, Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes would go on to allow no earned runs in the 11th inning as he would strike out a batter. With his win, he's 6-2 on the year. In the Yankees batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Giancarlo Stanton, was the only player with the multi-hit game. He went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 26th home run of the season. With this win, the New York Yankees are 78-56. That is the second best record in the American League East. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They currently trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 6.5 games in the division, and they are holding on to that top American League wildcard spot, sitting a game and a half ahead of the second-place Boston Red Sox. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 41-92. That is the worst record in the American League East and the worst record in the American League. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 43 games in the division, which is a bigger gap than the gap between the worst and best teams in the National League, just to give a sense of where the Orioles sit. And they are right now one of 2 teams in the American League that have officially been eliminated from wild card contention. And then jumping out to Toronto, the Toronto Blue Jays hosted the Oakland A's, and both of these teams fighting for playoff positioning would find themselves fighting all the way to the 9th inning. The Blue Jays would beat the Athletics 11-10 after scoring 9 of their 11 runs in the final 2 innings, ending it off on a 3-run walk-off home run from Marcus Semien to give them the game, essentially. For the Oakland Athletics, the start was given to Sean Manaea. He allowed only 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in 7 innings as he struck out 9. The loss, however, was given to the A's closer, Sergio Romo. Romo allowed 3 earned runs in the 8th inning, and he would pick up his 3rd blown save of the season. With this loss, he's 1-1. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Josh Harrison, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Then their first baseman, Matt Olson, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Their elite third baseman, Matt Chapman, went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. And then their left fielder, Tony Kemp, went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his 6th home run of the season. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, the start was given to Alek Manoah. Manoah allowed 6 earned runs in the first 5 innings of the game, striking out 2. The win was given to the Blue Jays closer, Jordan Romano. He allowed 2 earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 2. With this win, he's now 7-1 on the season. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their all-star second baseman Marcus Semien went 1 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 34th home run of the season. Their elite first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would go 3 for 4 with an RBI and a couple of runs. And then with this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 71-62. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 6 of their last 10. At the moment, they trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 13 games in the division, and they trailed the Boston Red Sox by 5 games for that second American League wildcard spot. The Blue Jays at the moment are the 3rd team on the outside looking in, as they also trail the Oakland Athletics and the Seattle Mariners. With this loss, the Oakland Athletics are now 74-61. That is the 2nd best record in the American League West. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Houston Astros by 5.5 games in the division. And at the moment, they trail the Boston Red Sox by 3 games for that second American League wildcard spot. The A's are the first team on the outside looking in the American League, and this loss was not helping them at all. Jumping out to Fenway, the Boston Red Sox hosted the Cleveland Indians, and the Red Sox would pull off an 8-5 win after scoring 5 of their 8 runs in the bottom of the 7th. For the Cleveland Indians, the start and loss went to Cal Quantrill. He allowed 5 earned runs in the first 6 innings of the game, striking out 6. With his loss, he's 4-3 on the season. In the Indians batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Jose Ramirez, went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. He would hit his 32nd home run of the season. Additionally, their first baseman, Bobby Bradley, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. And then additionally, the Indians second baseman, Andres Jimenez, would go 2 for 4 with a run. For the Red Sox, the start was given to Nate Eovaldi. He allowed 3 earned runs and he allowed 6 hits, striking out 9 before getting pulled in the 7th inning. The win was given to the Red Sox first relief pitcher, Adam Ottavino. Ottavino would allow no earned runs in .2 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters as he finished out the 7th inning, and with his win, he's now 4-3 on the year. The save would end up going to the Red Sox closer, Garrett Whitlock. He allowed 1 earned run in 1.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 as he finished off the 8th and 9th innings. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their left fielder Kyle Schwarber went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 29th home run of the season. And then additionally, their catcher Kevin Plawecki would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run for himself. He would go on to hit his 2nd home run of the year. And also the Red Sox shortstop Jonathan Arauz would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 2nd home run of the season. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are 78-59. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 8 games in the division, and they are holding on to that 2nd American League wildcard spot. They sit a game and a half behind the New York Yankees, who are holding that first wildcard spot. And the Red Sox sit 3 games ahead of the Oakland Athletics, who are the first team on the outside looking in, just to look at how comfortable they are with their positioning. With this loss, the Cleveland Indians are now 67-65. That is the 2nd best record in the American League Central, as they've only lost 4 of their last 10 games. They trailed the Chicago White Sox by 9.5 games in the division, just to give a sense of where they sit. Jumping out to Cincinnati, not that far away, the Reds hosted the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers will pull off a 15-5 win after scoring 10 of their runs between the 6th and 7th inning. For the Cincinnati Reds in this matchup, the loss would go to their starting pitcher, Vlad Gutierrez. Vlad Gutierrez would allow 4 runs in 3.1 innings pitched, striking out 1 before he got pulled in the 4th. With this loss, Vlad Gutierrez is 9-6 on the season. In the Reds batting lineup, their right fielder, Nick Castellanos, would go 2 for 4. And then additionally, their pinch hitting left fielder, Max Schrock, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run. For the Detroit Tigers on the other side of this matchup, the start went to Tyler Alexander. Alexander allowed 1 earned run and 2 hits in 3.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 5 before getting pulled in the 4th. The save, however, would go to the Tigers' closer, Derek Holland. Holland allowed no earned runs in the final 2 innings of the game, striking out 2. With this win, he's now 9-2. He's now 3-2 on the season for Detroit. In the Tigers batting lineup, their second baseman, Jonathan Scope, went 4 for 6 with an RBI and 3 runs. He hit his 19th home run of the season. Their third baseman, Jeimer Candelario, would go 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 4 runs. He would hit his 12th home run of the season, as well as his 38th and 39th doubles of the year. Their shortstop, Harold Castro, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Castro would end up hitting his 9th double of the season. Their right fielder, Victor Reyes, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. And then additionally, their catcher in this game, Dustin Garneau, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 2nd and 3rd home runs of the season. And with this win, the Detroit Tigers are 64-72. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central, as they've won 4 of their last 10 games. They trail the Chicago White Sox by 14.5 games in the division, and they currently trail, just to give a sense where they are, they trail the Boston Red Sox by 13.5 games for that second wild card spot, as they are still in playoff contention at the moment. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are 72-64. That is the 2nd best record in the National League Central. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games, as they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 10 games in the division. And at the moment, they're holding on to that second National League wildcard spot, sitting 13.5 games behind the first place LA Dodgers. And they sit half a game ahead of the San Diego Padres, who are the first team on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. Jumping out to Tampa Bay, the team with the best record in the American League, the Rays hosted the Minnesota Twins. The Rays would pull off a 5-3 win at home after scoring all 5 of their runs in the 2nd and 3rd inning after the Twins scored the first run of the game. For Minnesota, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Randy Dobnak. He allowed 5 earned runs, striking out 2 in the first 7 innings of the game. With his loss, he's now 1-7. In the Twins batting lineup, their second baseman, Jorge Polanco, was the only player with more than 1 hit. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run, as his solo home run in the first inning was his 25th of the year. For the Tampa Bay Rays, the win went to their starting pitcher, Michael Wacha. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits in 6 innings pitched, as he struck out 7. With this win, Michael Wacha is 3-4 on the season, and the save was given to Andrew Kittredge. Kittredge would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning, as he struck out 2. This will be his 6th save of the year. And in the Rays batting lineup, their left fielder, Austin Meadows, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He was the only player with more than 1 hit. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are 85-50. That is the best record in the American League East. The American League East, and it's the best record in the American League as a whole. They've won 8 of their last 10 games, as they now sit 6.5 games ahead of the second place New York Yankees in their division. And right now they're holding on to that number 1 seed in the American League playoff picture, as they sit ahead of the second place Houston Astros out west and the Chicago White Sox, who are currently leading the Central. With this loss, the Minnesota Twins are 58-76. That is the worst record in the American League Central. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They trail the Chicago White Sox by 19.5 games in the division, as they are the last team in the American League who, as of right now, can still contend for a playoff spot. Jumping out to Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the Philadelphia Phillies. The Marlins were able to pull up a 10-3 win at home after the Phillies tied the game at 3 in the sixth. The Marlins would score 7 runs in the bottom of the sixth to run away with win number 56. For Philadelphia, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson allowed 8 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 before getting pulled in the 6th inning. With this loss, he's now 10-6 on the season. In the Phillies batting lineup, their third baseman, Freddie Galvis, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He would hit his 10th home run of the season. And then the Philadelphia Phillies center fielder, Matt Fearling, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. For the Miami Marlins, the start went to Jesus Luzardo. He allowed all 3 of the runs the team would allow all game as he struck out 3 before getting pulled in the 6th. The win was given to the Miami Marlins first relief pitcher, Stephen Okert. Okert allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitched. He just finished out the 6th, and with this win, he's now 1-1 on the 2021 season. In the Marlins batting lineup, their second baseman, Jazz Chisholm Jr., will go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. He had his 16th double and his 4th triple of the season. Their shortstop, Miguel Rojas, will go 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. Their right fielder, Jesus Sanchez, would end up going 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 7th home run of the season, and with this win, the Miami Marlins are 56-79. That is the 4th best record in the National League East, as they've won 5 of their last 10. And at the moment, alongside the Washington Nationals, the Miami Marlins trail the Atlanta Braves by 15.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 69-65. That is the 2nd best record in the National League East. They've lost 4 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Atlanta Braves by 2 games in the division. And right now, they trail the Cincinnati Reds by 2 games for that 2nd National League wildcard spot. They're the 3rd team on the outside looking in of the National League playoff picture as they now trail the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals at the moment, just to give a sense of how close they are to the playoff picture. Jumping out to Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals took on the Chicago White Sox from within their own division. The Royals would beat the White Sox 7-2 at home after scoring 6 of their 7 in between the 2nd and 3rd innings. For the Chicago White Sox, the loss went to their elite starting pitcher, Dallas Keuchel. He allowed 6 runs in the first 3 innings of the game before striking, as he struck out 1 in that span as well. With this loss, Dallas Keuchel is 8-8, and in the White Sox batting lineup, their shortstop, Leori Garcia, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI. And for the Kansas City Royals, the win was given to their starting pitcher, Carlos Hernandez. Hernandez allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in 6 innings pitched. He would strike out 3 batters in that 6-inning span, and with this win, he's now 5-1 on the year. In the Royals batting lineup, there's elite catcher Salvador Perez would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their designated hitter, Carlos Santana, went 2 for 4 with a run. And then their center fielder, Michael Taylor, would go 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Additionally, their left fielder, Andrew Benintendi, would go 3 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Kansas City Royals are 60-74. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central. They've won 4 of their last 10 games as they now sit 17.5 games behind the division-leading Chicago White Sox. With this loss, the division-leading Chicago White Sox are now 78-57. That is the best record in the American League Central still, as they've lost 4 of their last 10 games. They sit 9.5 games ahead of the second-place Cleveland Indians in the division, and they are holding on to that 3rd playoff spot in the American League playoff picture as they trail the 1st seed Tampa Bay Rays out east and also the 2nd seed Houston Astros out west. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cardinals were able to beat the best team in their division 15-4, as they were able to put up 12 hits alongside their 15 runs. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Freddie Peralta. He allowed 4 earned runs and struck out 4 in the first 2 innings of the game. With this loss, he's now 9-4. In the Brewers batting lineup, their second baseman, Luis Urias, would end up going 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He was the only player on the Brewers with more than one hit. For St. Louis, on the other hand, the win went to their starting pitcher, Adam Wainwright. He allowed 2 earned runs and struck out 4 before getting pulled in the 7th inning. With this win, he's now 14-7 on the season, and in the Cardinals batting lineup, their elite third baseman Nolan Arenado would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. His 2 hits were his 28th and 29th home runs of the year. Their shortstop Edmundo Sosa will go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 3 runs. As Sosa would hit his 5th home run of the season, and their center fielder Harrison Bader went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. Bader hit his 11th home run of the season. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 69-64. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central, as they've won 6 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 11.5 games in the division, and they trail the Cincinnati Reds by 1.5 games in the National League wild card race. They are the 2nd team on the outside looking in, as they also trail the San Diego Padres by 1 game in the National League race, or in the wild card race. With this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are 82-54. That is still the best record in the National League Central. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They currently sit 10 games ahead of the 2nd place Cincinnati Reds in their division, and they are holding on to that 2nd seed in the National League playoff picture as they trail the San Francisco Giants leading out west, and they sit ahead of the Atlanta Braves, who are currently leading out east. Jumping out to Denver, the site of the 2021 MLB All-Star Game, the Colorado Rockies would host the Atlanta Braves and pull off a 4-3 win at home. The Braves would tie the game up in the top of the 6th, but it would be an RBI single from C.J. Cron to give the Rockies win number 62. For the Atlanta Braves, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Huascar Ynoa. Ynoa allowed 4 earned runs in 5.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 5 before getting pulled in the 6th inning. With this loss, he's 4-5 on the year. In the Braves batting lineup, their third baseman, Austin Riley, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. He was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. Additionally, the Braves' elite second baseman, Ozzie Albies, went 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run, as he hit his 24th home run of the season. For the Colorado Rockies, the win went to their starting pitcher, Antonio Senzatella. Senzatella would allow 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in the first 7 innings of the game, as he struck out 3. With this win, Antonio Senzatella is 4-9 on the year, and the save would end up going to the Rockies closer, Carlos Estevez. Estevez allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, and this will be his 4th save of the year. In the Rockies batting lineup, nobody on the team finished with more than 1 hit, but their elite right fielder, Charlie Blackmon, would go 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run, as he hit his 12th home run of the season. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are 62-73. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've won 5 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the San Francisco Giants by 24 games in the division at the moment. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are 71-63. That is the best record in the National League East. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games, as they still sit 2 games ahead of the 2nd place Philadelphia Phillies in the division. Right now, they are holding on to that 3rd seed in the National League playoff picture, as they trail the San Francisco Giants out west, and they also trailed the Milwaukee Brewers, who are currently controlling the Central. Jumping out to Anaheim, the LA Angels hosted the Texas Rangers. The Angels will pull off a 3-2 win at home, as they would end up breaking the tie in the 6th inning thanks to an RBI single from Max Stassi. For the Texas Rangers in this matchup, the start was given to Glenn Otto. Glenn Otto allowed 2 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 4. The loss was given to the Rangers' first relief pitcher, Dennis Santana. Santana allowed 1 earned run in 1.1 innings pitched, striking out a batter. With this loss, Dennis Santana is 2-4 on the season. In the Rangers batting lineup, their second baseman, Nick Solak, would go 3 for 4 with a run. Their left fielder, Jason Martin, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run, as he hit his 6th home run of the year. And for the LA Angels, the win went to their all-star starting pitcher, Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani allowed 2 earned runs and off of 7 hits and 7 innings pitched, as he struck out 8. With this win, Shohei Ohtani is 9-1 on the season, and the save was given to their closer, Raisel Iglesias. He He allowed no earned runs and only one hit in the ninth inning as he struck out a batter. This would be his 30th save of the season. In the Angels batting lineup, their second baseman David Fletcher would end up going 2 for 3 with a run. Their third baseman Phil Gosselin went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Their first baseman their all-star first baseman Jared Walsh would go 2 for 4 with an RBI, and then their left fielder Joe Adell would go 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are 67-68. That is the fourth best record in the American League West. They've won 5 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Houston Astros by 12.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are 47-87. That is the worst record in the American League West, and that is the second worst record in the American League at the moment. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They trail the Houston Astros by 32 games as they are one of 2 teams in the American League who have officially been eliminated from playoff contention for the 2021 season. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners would beat the Diamondbacks 6-5 in the 10th inning as the winning run would come off of an RBI single from Jared Kelenic. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, the start was given to Madison Bumgarner. He allowed 5 earned runs in the first 6 innings of the game, striking out 5. The loss was given to the Diamondbacks closer Taylor Clark. Taylor Clark allowed 1 run in the 10th inning, striking out 2. With this loss, he's 11-2 on the season. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, their shortstop Nick Ahmed would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. He would hit his third triple of the season. Additionally, their right fielder Josh Rojas would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run for himself. For the Seattle Mariners, the start was given to Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson allowed 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in 6 innings as he struck out 5. The win was given to the Mariners setup relief pitcher Justice Sheffield. Sheffield allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's 7-8 on the year. The save was given to the Mariners closer Johan Ramirez. Ramirez would allow no earned runs in the 10th inning, striking out a batter. This would be his second save of the year. In the Mariners batting lineup, their right fielder Mitch Haniger went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 30th home run of the season. Also, their center fielder Jared Kelenic would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run as he would go on to hit his 8th home run of the year. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are 73-62. That is the third best record in the American League West. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They trailed the Houston Astros by 6.5 games in the division, and they trailed the Boston Red Sox by 4 games for that second American League wildcard spot. The Seattle Mariners are the second team on the outside looking in, as they also trail the Oakland Athletics in that race as well. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are 45-91. That is the worst record in the National League. And it's the worst record in the National League West as well. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games as they now trail the San Francisco Giants by 41.5 games in the division. And that is the gap between the best and worst teams in the National League. At the moment, the Arizona Diamondbacks are the only team in the National League that have effectively been eliminated from playoff contention at the moment. Jumping out to San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants hosted the defending World Series champs, LA Dodgers. This game will go into extra innings with the score tied at 1 after the Dodgers tied it up, after Chris Taylor tied it up at the top of the 9th. At the top of the 10th, the Dodgers would take their first lead of the game off of a Trey Turner sac fly. In the bottom of the 10th, Brandon Crawford would bring a run home to send it to the 11th. And then in the bottom of the 11th, it would come off of a it would come off of a Brandon Belt scoring play after Trey Turner had a throwing error, and would result in the Giants picking up their 86th win of the season and regaining control of the division. For the defending World Series champs LA Dodgers, the start was given to Corey Knebel. Corey Knebel allowed no earned runs in the first 2 innings of the pitch as he struck out 2. The loss for the Dodgers was given to their closer for the day, Evan Phillips. Evan Phillips would allow 1 run in 1 inning as he would finish off the 10th inning, but not the 11th. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 2, and with this loss, he's now 1-1 on the season. In the Dodgers batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their elite shortstop, Corey Seager, who went 4 for 5 on the day. For the San Francisco Giants, I believe the pitching performance for the day went to Anthony DeSclafani. DeSclafani would allow no earned runs off of 2 hits as he struck out 5 in the first six innings of the game. The win was given to the Giants closer, Harlan Garcia. Garcia allowed no earned runs in the 11th inning, striking out 2. With this win, he's 6-3 on the year. In the Giants batting lineup, their left fielder Darren Ruff will go 2 for 4. Their shortstop Brandon Crawford will go 3 for 5 with an RBI as well. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are 86-49. That is the best record in the National League West and the best record in the National League as a whole, and also the best record in all of baseball. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 5 of their last 10. They sit a game ahead of the second place LA Dodgers in their division, just to get a sense of where the Giants are sitting. And they're holding on to that number 1 playoff spot in the National League, holding that spot over the second seed Milwaukee Brewers of the Central, and they're holding it over the 3rd seed Atlanta Braves of the East. With this loss, the Los Angeles Dodgers are 85-50. That is the second best record in the National League West, and that is all. They are tied with the Tampa Bay Rays for the second best record in all of baseball at the moment. They've lost 3 of their last 10 games. They trail the San Francisco Giants by a game in the division, and they are holding on to sole position for that first wild card spot in the National League as they sit 13.5 games ahead of the second place Cincinnati Reds in that race. Last but not least, jumping out to San Diego, going to Southern California, the Padres would host the Houston Astros, and in this interleague matchup, the game would be tied at 3, but then the Astros would score 3 in the 8th and 9th inning to win this game 6-3, picking up win number 79. For the San Diego Padres, the start went to Jake Arrieta. He allowed 3 earned runs in the first 5 innings of the game, striking out 3. The loss, however, was given to the Padres' third relief pitcher, Emilio Pagan. Pagan would go on to allow 2 earned runs in the 8th inning, striking out 1. With this loss, he's 4-1 on the season. In the Padres batting lineup, their catcher, Austin Nola, will go 2 for 4 with an RBI. And then for the Houston Astros, the start went to Jose Urquidy. He allowed 2 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 before getting pulled in the 5th. The save, however, will go to the Astros' 5th relief pitcher on the day, Blake Taylor. Blake Taylor would allow no earned runs in 0.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 1 batter as he finished off the 7th inning, and with this win, he's 3-4. The save will go to Ryan Presley. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he picked up save number 23. In the Astros batting lineup, their right fielder, Kyle Tucker, went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 23rd home run of the season. With this win, the Houston Astros are 79-75. That is the best record in the American League West. They've won 6 of their last 10 games as they sit 5.5 games ahead of the second place Oakland Athletics in the division. And the Houston Astros are holding on to that 2nd seed in the American League playoff picture, currently trailing the Tampa Bay Rays out east, holding the number 1 seed, and they're sitting ahead of the 3 seed Chicago White Sox, who right now are leading the Central. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are 71-64. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They trail the San Francisco Giants by 15 games in the division, and they trail the Cincinnati Reds by half a game out as they are the first team outside of the National League wildcard race, just to show how close the Padres are from playoff contention. With that said, that's everything that's going on within the MLB, and looking out to what's going on today, starting at 1:00, because today is not the travel day, but because it's Saturday, you'll see some more day games. At 1:05, Jordan Montgomery and the New York Yankees are going to host Chris Ellis and the Baltimore Orioles. Jordan Montgomery enters this matchup with a 5-5 record, holding a 3.52 ERA. At 1:05, Eric Fedde and the Washington Nationals are going to host Marcus Stroman and the New York Mets. Stroman enters this matchup with a 9-12 record, holding a 2.85 ERA, as that's the first game of that doubleheader. Game 2 of that doubleheader is going to take place at 6:05, as the Nats have not named their starting pitcher, but Tyler McGill will take the mound for New York. At 2:20, Kyle Hendricks and the Chicago Cubs are going to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Kyle Hendricks enters his matchup with a 14-6 record, holding a 4.43 ERA. At 3:07, Jose Barrios and the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Paul Blackburn in the Oakland Athletics. Jose Barrios enters his matchup holding a 9-7 record alongside a 3.53 ERA. At 4:10, Tanner Houck and the Boston Red Sox are going to host Eli Morgan and the Cleveland Indians. At 4:10 on FS1, Chris Archer and the Tampa Bay Rays are going to host Andrew Albers and the Minnesota Twins. At 6:10, Trevor Rogers and the Miami Marlins are going to host Ranger Suarez and the Philadelphia Phillies. Ranger Suarez enters his matchup with a 6-4 record, holding a 1.48 ERA. Trevor Rogers enters his matchup with a 7-6 record, holding a 2.45 ERA for himself. At 7:10, Daniel Lynch and the Kansas City Royals are going to host Reynaldo Lopez and the Chicago White Sox. At 7:10, Tyler Mahle and the Cincinnati Reds are going to host Matthew Boyd and the Detroit Tigers. Matthew Boyd enters his matchup with a 3-7 record, holding a 3.50 ERA. Tyler Mahle enters his matchup with a 10-5 record, holding a 3.64 record. At the same time, at 7:10 on ESPN+, Adrian Hauser and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to host Kwang Hyun Kim in the St. Louis Cardinals. Kim enters his matchup with a 6-6 record, holding a 3.23 ERA. At the same time, Adrian Hauser is holding a 7-6 record alongside a 3.69 ERA. At 8:10, German Marquez and the Colorado Rockies are going to host Ian Anderson and the Atlanta Braves. Ian Anderson enters his matchup with a 6-5 record, holding a 3.36 ERA. German Marquez enters his matchup with an 11-10 record, holding a 4.10 ERA. At the same time, at 8:10, the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to host Marco Gonzalez and the Seattle Mariners. At 8:40, Joe Musgrove and the San Diego Padres are going to host Framber Valdez and the Houston Astros. Framber Valdez takes the mound holding a 9-4 record alongside a 2.91 ERA, and Joe Musgrove will take the mound at home with a 9-8 record holding a 2.85 ERA. At 9:05, the MLB leading San Francisco Giants are going to lead Julio Urias and the LA Dodgers, the individual pitcher who has the best record in baseball. He's holding a 15-3 record alongside a 3.17 ERA. And last but not least, at 9:07, Jose Suarez and the Los Angeles Angels are going to host Colby Allard and the Texas Rangers in Anaheim. So that is what the baseball season is looking like, as only 3 teams are officially eliminated from playoff contention. And now we have 27 teams now competing for what would be 8 playoff spots. Taking a look at before we leave the nation, taking a look at what's been going on with college football yesterday in the very first day, or in the second day of ranked matchups. Unranked Virginia Tech was able to beat 10th ranked North Carolina 17-10 in order to start off their season 1-0 at home and to start this season off with an upset. For the Tar Heels, their starting quarterback Sam Howell threw for 208 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 picks. Their leading receiver, Josh Downs, had 123 yards and a touchdown. For Virginia Tech, their starting quarterback, Braxton Burmeister, completed 12 of his 19 attempts for 169 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And with this win, Virginia Tech, like I said, is 1-0. They are 1-0 in the ACC. With this loss, 10th ranked North Carolina is 0-1, as they are now 0-1 in the ACC. That was the only college football game of note from yesterday. And taking a look at what's going on today as we're navigating through college football in the very first week of the 2021 season, looking at just the ranked opponents specifically. Starting with the noon games on ABC, unranked Tulane will face off against second-ranked Oklahoma. The game was originally supposed to be played in New Orleans, but because of Hurricane Ida, the game got moved to Norman. At the same time, at noon, 12th-ranked Wisconsin is going to host 19th-ranked Penn State on Fox. At 2 o'clock, 11th-ranked Oregon is going to host unranked Fresno State on the Pac-12 network. At 3:30, it'll be the Chick-fil-A kickoff game in Atlanta, as 14th-ranked Miami is going to host first-ranked Alabama. At the same time, at 3:30 on ESPN Plus, 8th-ranked Cincinnati is going to host unranked Miami, Ohio. Also at 3:30 at the same time, 18th-ranked Iowa is going to host 17th-ranked Indiana on Big Ten Network. At 4:30, 7th-ranked Iowa State is going to host unranked Northern Iowa on Big 12 Network. At 4:30 on Fox, 21st-ranked Texas is going to host 23rd-ranked University of Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns. At 5 o'clock on the Pac-12 Network, 15th-ranked USC is going to host unranked San Jose State. San Jose State already comes into this matchup with a 1-0 record, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. At 7:30 on ABC, it'll be Duke's Mayo Classic as 3rd-ranked Clemson is going to host 5th-ranked Georgia at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. At 7:30 on SEC Network, 13th-ranked Florida is going to host unranked Florida Atlantic, or FAU. At 8 o'clock on ESPNU, 6th-ranked Texas A&M is going to host unranked Kent State on ESPN, like I just said, on ESPNU. At 8 o'clock on the Pac-12 Network, 20th-ranked Washington's going to host unranked Montana. And then last but not least, at 8:30, unranked 1-0 UCLA is going to host 16th-ranked LSU in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. So that is what college football is looking like as we are inching through the college football season 1 week at a time. And then taking a look at what's been going on outside of the continent in soccer, the only games that really took place yesterday were World Cup qualifiers in Africa, and then just the games of note. Ivory Coast drew with Mozambique. Nigeria was able to beat Liberia as their midfielder Iheanacho would score 2 goals in the first half. And then looking forward to what's going on today with World Cup qualifiers starting off in Europe. It seems as though France is going to face off against Ukraine at 2:45. That looks to be the big matchup in Europe. And that's virtually what's going on as we navigate through this world of sports one day at a time. Today is Saturday, September 4th, 2021. But first, I want to thank the MLB, the FIFA, and college football websites for giving me what I needed to give for the facts and figures to complete this episode and go from beginning to end. And of course, I want to apologize for all the names that I butchered, because I do hope to get them right eventually. And at the end of the day, I want to thank everyone for listening to this piece. I hope all is well. Once again, today is Saturday, September 4th, 2021. This is The Elite. I'm James Sims, and once this episode is done, I will come back to you tomorrow once all of today's matchups and exhibitions are done. So until then, thanks for listening to my piece, and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.